Hi Otters, and welcome to another writing lesson. So today we are going to continue innovating the resolution of our story. Can you pause me here please whilst you write today's date and hello? Press play when you're ready to carry on. So now you've done that, hopefully you've got the hang of what the start of our lessons is going to be. It's been the same every day since writing our story. I would like you to edit the innovation you did of our resolution. So this is the work that you did yesterday. And I've just put some questions here to help you remember some of the things that you may have forgotten. So did you remember a colon before your list? Did you include commas within your list? And have you checked your spellings yet? Can you pause me whilst you look through yesterday's work for these things and press play when you're ready to move on? So now that you've checked your work, hopefully you've spotted any silly mistakes you might have made, and it would be really nice maybe if you hadn't made any mistakes at all, but we will see. And as always, we're going to start by practicing our story map. As I think I say nearly every day, you should have practiced this lots now and know it really well. This should be getting quicker and quicker each time you recite it. So pause me here whilst you practice your story map and press play when you're ready to carry on. Now that you've practiced your story map, we can move on to the writing part of our lesson. So we're going to be finishing our resolution today, and the end bit of our resolution is this part of the story map. So whilst I gave you the option yesterday, again, you could practice just this part of the today to get your brains in gear and get you focused on what part of the story we're on. So pause me whilst you do that if you're going to practice that part of the story map. Everybody else, we are going to start looking at the model text now. So this is the part that we are going to be innovating today. So I'm just going to read it out. It says, "Medicine time, Grandma," shouted George. "About time, you lazy worm," she cackled back. With a smile, he handed the concoction to Grandma and watched with wide eyes as she lifted it to her small, wrinkled mouth. To his amazement, thick black smoke began to escape from her nostrils. She shot straight into the air and fell back down into her chair with a thud. For a minute, she didn't say anything. "Thanks, Sonny," smiled Grandma sweetly. "I feel so much better." So, I wonder if you could pause me in a minute and have a look through this part of the text and spot the different sentence types that we've used in this time. Pause me whilst you do that and press play when you're ready to move on. So the sentence type, well, first of all, and not just the sentence types, I should have said, the features as well, because we've got lots of speech in here. We've got, let's try and go in order. So we've got some speech, we've got some fronted adverbial. So we've added that extra information, such as with a smile, to his amazement, and for a minute. For a minute is a time phrase, so it tells us how long something's been happening. As well as this, we've got some two-way sentences. We've got small wrinkled mouth. Don't forget that comma after your first adjective. And we've got thick black smoke. So again, they've got that comma after thick. And I think that might be it. We've got an adverb down here to describe how Grandma smiled. And other than that, it's all sentence types that we've practiced lots and lots before. So instead, I have to think back to my story. So I'm just going to share with you the resolution that I wrote yesterday, the last piece of writing that I did. So I had worried Lucy set to work. There was no point in trying to find the original recipe. She would just have to try and make a new one. Grabbing the biggest mixing bowl she could carry, Lucy headed to the garden and began to fill it with the most disgusting things. Wriggly worms, slime from a slug, and rotten apples from the compost heap. She took the bowl back into the kitchen and beat the mixture vigorously to combine all of the ingredients into a smooth cake batter. Now I'm just going to go back here. So this is where I've got up to, and I'm going to check my plan now. So I've had this, and then I'm going to see my next box to see what my idea was. So this time, Grandpa, he's going to love the cake. And he's also going to be a changed person. I'm going to leave my twist ending for tomorrow. So the most important thing here is that he's going to love the cake. So instead of medicine time, Grandma, what could my character Lucy shout? What would make sense? Why would he get a cake? So, new paragraph, which means I need to indent, and oh, that was clever. My computer did it automatically. And because I'm starting with some speech, I need my open speech marks. Instead of medicine time, I'm going to go for party time because it's his birthday cake. So party time, comma, Grandpa. And then I'm going to have an exclamation mark, and then my closed speech marks here. Shouted Lucy. Full. And it's going to be, I was going to say a full stop then. It's actually going to be a comma here because it's split speech because Lucy is going to carry on talking in a moment. And instead of saying that my medicine is ready, she's going to say, your cake is ready. An exclamation mark and that closed speech marks again. Lovely. Are we happy with this, or have I made some silly mistakes? Have a look and see if you can spot it. Well, first of all, Grandpa needs a capital G because it's his name, and Lucy needs a capital L because it's her name. I've also made two other mistakes. I wonder if you spotted them. No spelling mistakes this time, though. I've been quite good with that. I have started speech here, so I need my open speech marks here, and it needs a capital letter because it's the start of speech. Lovely. I finished my first sentence. Can you pause me, please, whilst you have a go at yours, and then press play when you're ready to carry on. So now you've done that, and we're going to move on to the next bit, which is Grandma replying, saying, "About time, you lazy worm," she cackled back. Because it is a new speaker, I need to start a new line, okay, because it's a new speaker. This time, though, because it is not a new paragraph, I don't need to indent, okay? So I'm going to go for open speech marks. And you know what? She's still going to be rude. She's still going to say about time. But instead of saying, you lazy worm, what could Grandpa say? You useless maggot. That's pretty horrible for Grandpa to say. Comma, and my closed speech marks. And then instead of, what did Grandma, how did she say it? She cackled back. I'm going to have, he's going to sneer back. So he sneered back. Full stop. Now I've had a go at this piece of speech. Could you do yours, please? So how is your horrible character going to respond? Pause me whilst you have a go and press play when you're ready to move on. Next up, then, let's go back to my model text and see where we've got up to. So with a smile, he handed the concoction to Grandma and watched with wide eyes as she lifted it to her small, wrinkled mouth. You know what? I'm going to magpie with a smile. I really like that sentence starter. And because I've magpied it, I cannot forget the comma because that was in my model text. So with a smile, she handed the cake, not the concoction, handed the cake to Grandpa. Ooh, Grandpa. And watched, I'm going to keep it the same, and watched with wide eyes as he, what did Grandma do? She lifted it to her small wrinkled mouth. Instead, my grandpa is going to be greedy and he's going to devour it in, devoured it in one bite. Oh, bit, my typing today is not very good. Devoured it in one bite. I'd like you to have a go at this sentence. You could magpie with a smile like I did, or you might have something better than I came up with. So pause me whilst you do this sentence and then press play when you're ready to move on. Okay, then we've got 3 sentences to go. So I'm just going to go back to my model text again and see where we've got up to. So our next bit will be, to his amazement, thick black smoke began to escape from her nostrils. Now, I do like the idea of him being amazed, but I think Lucy is going to be maybe a bit more shocked or surprised. I'm going to go for surprised. So, to her surprise, comma, or what did we have? I think, was it thick black smoke began to escape from her nostrils. I'm going to stick with smoke, but my smoke's not going to be black. I'm going to have thick green smoke. And I need a comma here because it's a two-way sentence. So thick, comma, green smoke began to, I was going to say escape. How would smoke move? What's a better word than escape? I'm going to go for billow. Smoke began to billow from, I don't want her nostrils, his nostrils. Smoke's going to come out of his ears instead. So, to her surprise, this is Lucy's surprise, thick green smoke began to billow from his ears. Oh, I like that sentence. I like the word billow. Pause me whilst you do this sentence and then press play when you're ready to move on. Right then, now we've got to think about what happens. So to Grandma, she shot straight into the air and fell back down into her chair with a thud. What's going to happen to your character when they consume your item? So when my grandpa eats his cake, what might happen? I'm still going to have him not quite shooting straight into the air, actually. I'm going to have, let's have a think. He leapt to his feet. I still like that. And so when he's on his feet, almost like he's had an electric shock is what's going in my head. So I think he's going to shake violently. So he leapt to his feet and shook violently. There's my adverb for you. From head to toe. Let's add that extra information. Before collapsing. That's collapsing back into his chair, just like Grandma did. Because I want him to go back to normal, almost, to how he was sitting before. I'm just going to read through this and check I like it. He leapt to his feet and shook violently from head to toe before collapsing back into his chair, or into the chair. Lovely. That was our second to last section nearly. So, because that's quite a short sentence, I'm going to move on. So, actually, no, sorry, I've changed my mind. Could you pause me here and have a go at that sentence, please? And then press play when you're ready to move on. So now you've written it, I'm just going to have a look back at my model text over here. So she shot straight into the air and fell back down into her chair with a thud. For a minute, she didn't say anything. You know what? I'm going to magpie that. I could maybe change for a minute to for a few seconds or for a while. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have for a while, comma, because it's my fronted adverbial. It tells me a bit about the time. It's a time phrase. For a while, he didn't. Oh, I was trying to make a deliberate mistake there. Didn't say anything. I tried to leave out the apostrophe. Did you see it? But my computer wouldn't let me. Why do I need that apostrophe? Why do I need an apostrophe and didn't? It's because it's a contraction. It joins the word did and not into a contraction. So for a while, he didn't say anything. Now, this is a really short sentence. So you're going to go and have a go at this now, please. And then press play when you're ready to finish off. Final section then. I just have to go back to my model text and double check what that looks like. And this is Grandma says, "Thanks, Sunny," smiled Grandma sweetly. "I feel so much better." Let's have a think then. So my character, Grandpa, he's not going to call Lucy Sunny. That wouldn't quite make sense. So I'm going to have my open speech marks. And what could Grandpa call Lucy instead of Sunny? What's like a bit of a pet name or a term of endearment that he could use? I'm going to go for Dearie, I think. "Thanks, Dearie," comma, close speech marks, smiled Grandpa. I'm going to stick with Sweetly for now. I can't really think of anything better. This is where I need your help to think of a better adverb than Sweetly. But I'm going to leave it like that for now. "Thanks, Dearie," smiled Grandpa sweetly. And instead of saying "I feel so much better," Grandpa is going to say, so speech marks, he's going to say, "That's the best cake I've ever eaten. And he's going to exclaim that because he's so pleased with it. And then my closing speech marks go afterwards. So, thanks, dearie, smiled Grandpa sweetly. That's the best cake I've ever eaten. That is the last part of our resolution. So in a moment, you're going to pause me and you're going to go and finish this off. And I will see you back tomorrow, or you'll hear me back tomorrow to finish off our story. Bye.